Hey guys, welcome to another video. And yes, I'm showing my Fuji fandom right now with my vest, but I wanted to talk to you guys on this video about getting out and shooting the gear you have. Going out and shooting constantly so you get familiar with your gear. So it becomes second nature and you understand what it'll do for you in the different scenarios that you're using it in. And one such thing happened 2 weekends ago. The wife and I went out shooting. She was testing out some Sony gear and I decided, you know, it's been a minute. Let me get my X-H2s out along with the 150 to 600. Last time I shot it was, I think, December maybe or January. And we'll hit the metro, we'll hit like maybe the Metro Park or something. We wound up going Hines Drive. And where we stopped was at a point where there was a little body of water, like a lake, and an event space that was in front of it to go shoot. And I was blown away. I was blown away not just by the X-H2s, but by the 150 to 600 and the images that I got. Just me going out, just kind of getting the muscle memory going again, right? And something got me. I'm like, there's something different about this camera. It's really focusing better than I remember for some reason. I don't know what it was. And then it dawned on me that, wait a minute, Warren, you did the firmware 6.0 update. Duh. And you also did the update on the GFX 100 too. And part of that update was an autofocus and autofocus continuous mode update and bug fixes on the autofocus. And another part of that update, and it was like 12 bullets on there, was them adding finally the rectangular square in the recording, which I think is great. Should have been on the X-H2s and X-H2 when they released, in my opinion, but I'm glad to see that's there. But the reason I want to bring this video to you guys today is that you got to get out and shoot, especially after you do a firmware update to your gear, especially one as big as the 6.0 is for the X-H2s and all of the things that it does, to test them out, to refamiliarize yourself with the capabilities of the camera. And that's what I wanted to do. So after getting a shot of the moon during the daytime with that lens combo and getting the detail I got, I was just ecstatic. And then, of course, some little birds here and there, nothing flying though. So I decided this past weekend, let me go out and try to see if I can start working on my birds in flight skills. I could definitely shoot cars fast moving cars better than fast moving birds. Because at least I know they're still going around a set pattern around the track, right? So I go out and I set the camera up in shutter priority, 1/2000 of a second, and I put it on an auto ISO that wouldn't go higher than 1600 and let the camera choose the f-stop. I knew it was going to be a high one anyway, so I didn't go full manual. And I went at it, trying to get some birds. And here's my feedback so far on the autofocus improvements when it comes to the X-H2s and utilizing the 150 to 600 millimeter lens. And then also I also use the 70 to 300 millimeter lens with the teleconverter. First things first, I went out to shoot birds. How did it track? It tracked better than it did when I went out the previous time. It found the birds faster. Now, granted, this is not scientific. I didn't have a timer out with me. I'm just going off of my own personal experience. And unfortunately, I did not have my Ninja V with me where I could record the screen so you guys can see that improvement. But I don't know how much that matters if I didn't show it to you before I did the firmware update, right? So that'll be something I'll have to think about the next time. But what I can say is that it found birds. It found them quickly. With the teleconverter in the 70 to 300, I did witness a little bit more focused breathing of it trying to find a subject, especially when the lens was zoomed out to its furthest end. But I've had that experience with other lenses, so I think that's just a matter of, you know, you're zoomed out so far. If you're not really pointing at something that's going to give you a good contrast, the lens will try to find it with the autofocus continuous going, right? I did not have that as much on the 150 to 600, Where I was at on the first park, the one in front of me was Mud Island, and I checked this park out in the fall to see if it's something I can come back to. And it wasn't a lot of bird activity at the time of the day I went, because I went late in the day, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's late for going out birding, unless you know you're going to an area where there's going to be a lot of birds there throughout the day. There was a little bit of a haze coming off of the water, so I wasn't too excited about that. But I was able to get what I thought was some decent images of the birds, the seagulls that were in the area, the Canadian geese, as we call them, that were in the area. And I did like the detail that I got. One of my favorite shot was, I assumed they were egrets. At first I thought they were geese. I have to look at the images. I think they're geese, but one of them was chasing another one, and they were literally running on the water, flapping their wings. And it was awesome. I didn't think to get video because I was trying to take the pictures. And so I took a few pictures of that, and I think they came out pretty nice. And then I went from there to Lake Erie Metro Park so I can check it out. They had did some dredging and clean out a lot of the small little pools of water, lakes, whatever you want to call those, ponds, I guess, if you will. And did some cleaning up, and with the rainwaters and everything, they have filled up nicely, about halfway, and I knew that we're going to be some egrets there or some cranes fishing, and sure enough there were. And then so what I liked the most about it was that when it's just one bird, for sure it latches on and stays on that bird, and it found the bird very quickly compared to my experience in the fall. So I am very happy with the autofocus update. I'm happy that they finally put on this thing, as I point to the LCD, the rectangular there. So we'll check that out. I did notice too, and I can't recall if I didn't see this previously in recording with this camera, where you can actually increase or decrease your exposure count once you hit the record button. I do believe it was there before, because I remember it was something I could not do on the X100V, and it's something you cannot do on the X100-6 as well. As far as the other firmware updates and bug fixes, a lot of them don't really apply to me as far as the stuff that I use. But again, as you saw me put across the screen, there were 12 bullets of update. So all in all, I'm happy with the firmware updates for both cameras. But when it comes to the X-H2s, I'm really excited about what they've done, what magic they've worked. The autofocus seems to be working very nicely from what I recall using it previously. Even in this talking head piece, it's been on my left eye 90% of the time, with very little jumping back to the right. So there you go. Hopefully you guys' experience is just as good as mine's. Let me know what you think. You know, if you've done the firmware update, have you noticed a difference in autofocus when focusing on your subjects? Is it better for you? I will still say the jury's still out. You know, just me going out. But without thinking about it, I noticed it was better. So to me, that's a good thing. I didn't have to try to see if I noticed the difference. I actually noticed it before I realized, wait a minute, I did the firmware update. So thank you for that ramble. Thank you for listening. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Guys, the channel is growing. We are over 5,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. For those of you who are watching the videos and haven't just subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep growing the channel. And comment, guys, comment. You know I love the comments. You know I like responding and communicating with you guys, and you know, basically growing the community, right? So hit the comments, hit that like button, subscribe.